Hey guys, it's XX Modern Warfare here, Gamertag Banjo Chicken, and welcome to part 2 of JTAG Tutorials, episode 25, on how to convert Skyrim PC mods to JTAG Xbox 360. So in the first part we looked at converting texture mods, we converted Enhanced Night and we converted Death Star Moon. We also converted the main menu background, so we gave a custom main menu background for Skyrim, and we also changed the music for the main menu to a different song. So first of all, if somebody's just clicked on this video, anyone who's watching, if you click on this video and you haven't watched part 1, please go and watch part 1. There'll be a link up on screen now because there's need to know information in that part, and you won't be able to continue. You won't be able to just start from this part. Okay, I'm not going to re-go over anything we did in part 1 because there's just not enough time. So please go check out part 1 if you haven't already, and yeah, if you have checked out part 1, then let's continue. So basically, next we're going to do another texture mod. Now we're going to be doing texture mods and weapon mods in this, maybe map mods if we get enough time, otherwise there's going to be a part 3. So for our next texture mod, we're going to be doing a Pure Waters mod, which is basically a realistic water texture mod. Makes the water look so much more realistic, really enhances the game world, and I would definitely recommend anyone who is trying to convert any Skyrim mods, definitely convert this mod because it will just enhance your game experience. It just honestly, it just looks amazing. Because the default water in Skyrim is just horribly unrealistic and just ugh. So we're gonna go and convert it into much more realistic looking water. So if we go back to the tools, and the same download links that were in part 1 will be here in part 2 as well in the description. So let's head back to our Skyrim conversion tools and our next mod, which is Pure Waters. So we go into Pure Waters, there's data, an ESP file, and textures. Okay, so we're getting into ESP files now. Right, so first of all, let's go and replace the textures. So we go into textures in the game directory, and then we head to effects, and then we go to textures on the mod, effects, take all of these, copy them and paste them in. And then we're going to go ahead and refresh, so it's all in alphabetical order. Okay, so now we've got to go and delete the original files so that the game will use the modded files. So we've got to get rid of the DDX equivalents, so anything with the same name as the modded file but in DDX format needs to be deleted. So that one, that one, that one, and that one. Go ahead and delete those. Yep, we've got waterfall, DDX that needs to be removed. FX white water 01 and 02. And scroll further down. Some of the original game files are actually in DDS format for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but that's just how it goes. So that one, and that one need to be removed. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so we've also got water as a texture, so we're going to have to copy these textures and put them into water textures on the game. So you just paste those in. And as you can see, these two files are the same, water rain ripples, so you've got to delete the original DDX file. And that's it, we've installed the textures for Pure Waters. Okay, so that's the textures done. And there is a problem with this mod that I'm going to show you, and I'll also show you how to fix it later. But right now we've got to deal with the other file that's in the game here, which is Pure Waters data. This file here is a Bethesda plugin, or Bethesda plugin data file, or .esp. .esp and .esm, I believe, need to be put in a DLC container. Okay, so this is slightly different to anything we've done before for the texture mods. And lots of mods use ESP files. A hell of a lot of mods use ESP files. The majority of mods will use ESP files, so you're going to need to know how to do this. So in my Skyrim conversion tools that I've added in here, we have got a program called LaFluffy, I think it's called, and this program can create DLC. Now this is not the program I'm going to use. Okay, I'm going to use something called XLast, which is the Xbox Live authorizing and submission tool, and it is a lot better than LaFluffy, because XLast is an actual software development kit program that actual developers use to make DLC for their games, and LaFluffy is just a modding program that has the functionality built in. So if we open up LaFluffy, I'll just show you how to roughly do it in LaFluffy first, because some of you might not want to have to download the software development kit to get XLast. So in LaFluffy, you would just wait for it to load up, because it's not loading up properly yet. There we go. Okay, so we go to File, Package Creation, STFS, and then you would add the ESP file in here. So you would just right click here, add files, data, Pure Waters. So you would just stick the ESP file in here, put the title ID of the game, which I believe is 425307E6. Select English as your language, put in a title like Skyrim mods, description, Pure Waters or something, and then make sure it's set to marketplace content, and finalization, con provide KV, SFST, type 0 or type 1. I'm not sure about type 0 or type 1 actually, so try one or the other, and then you just click create package, and that will create it into a DLC file for you. So you can do that, but I do not recommend using this program. Okay, I know a lot of people do, but please try and use XLast if you can be bothered to get it. If you have Xbox 360 Neighborhood, then you have XLast probably. So you need the Microsoft Xbox 360 software development kit. As you can see here, they've got Xbox 360 Neighborhood. If you don't know about Xbox 360 Neighborhood, please go and watch episode 17 of JTAG tutorials. And if we open, we've got our JTAG here, so make sure you add your console as your default Xbox in Xbox 360 Neighborhood, and then also in the Microsoft Xbox 360 software development kit. If you scroll down to authorizing and submission, you will see Xbox and Live authorizing and submission tool. Open that up. This is XLast, and this is the program that I'm going to be using to create DLC, because it's a lot better than LaFluffy. So I have added Xbox SDK text document in here, which has all the links to download SDK. So just copy each link and download each part manually, or put them all into JDownloader and get it to download them all for you. There is a password called Xbox 360 ISO, and make sure you put in the password to be able to extract the files. So go download it, extract all the parts, and then start up the XEX and install. It's in episode 17, so watch episode 17. You're also going to need dash launch if you want to use the special FTP feature of this program, so that you can install the XBDM plugin. So if you don't know anything about that, what I've just said, then go and watch episode 4 and episode 3 and episode 17 will show you about that. So please use this tool. Don't use LaFluffy. Only use LaFluffy if you absolutely can't get the Xbox Live submission tool working, or you just can't get it downloaded for whatever reason. Okay, so with the submission tool, what we have to do is click on create new document. It's going to become a content package, so make sure you say content package. Click next. Content package name, we'll call it, just going to call it Skyrim mods at the moment. Project directory, now what we want to do here is head to where the PC mods are and create a folder called DLC. So just get rid of that one, because that's an older one I made. You don't have to call it DLC, honestly, you can call it whatever you want, but I'm just going to call it DLC and put all my ESP files in there. So I'll stick Pure Waters into the DLC folder, and I'll make the DLC folder my project directory. So Skyrim conversion tools, PC mods, DLC. So that's going to become my project directory. Title ID of game is 425307E6, I'm pretty sure. Name of game, Skyrim, obviously. Publishing offering ID is optional. I put it in anyway, just any hexadecimal 8. So I just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1. And then if I make another DLC package, that I'll call that one 02, 03, and so on. So there we go. Activation date, we'll leave that. Dashboard icon image, you do need to have this, and I have also provided it in the Skyrim conversion tools. So just go and use that icon for both of these, for the dashboard icon and title image, and it will show up in there. Content type is going to be in-game content. Then just click next, click yes, English, display name. So what is it going to display on Skyrim when you look at the add-ons? So I'll just kind of call this like it's just Skyrim mods 1. Not a very exciting name, but description, just Skyrim mods. Next, finish. Okay, so once you've done that, click on the contents folder. This is where your files are going to go, so just right click on here, click add file, go into the DLC folder, select Pure Waters and open, and the ESP file will appear in here. And this is the bit I was talking about. So you want to have the XBDM plugin installed into your dash launch settings, your console to be switched on, and you need to make sure Xbox 360 neighborhood, Xbox 360 neighborhood has the default Xbox selected, so that you can open it up and connect to it. And if you have that all set up and working, then XLast has a nice little ability. You can click test, go to action, test on local Xbox, and scroll down, and it'll say install files on Xbox, install succeeded. It literally FTP'd the game, the DLC, into the correct game folder, so it's now just put it onto my Xbox in the right place. So that's it, that's all you have to do. Now if you can't get it working this way, you can copy the files over manually, because it did also create the DLC on the computer as well. So it put one copy onto the Xbox in the correct place, and it put another copy onto the PC. So if you go back to the folder go back to the project directory, and there'll now be a folder called online in there. So if you open the online file, there's the DLC file in here. So you can just go and stick that over manually, which I'll show you how to do just now. I'm just going to use FTP for quickness to connect to the console. 0.5 I think it is at the moment. 21. So on your Skyrim directory, on the JTAG, your Skyrim directory where you put the DLC goes into HDD1 content, folder with all the zeros, then the title ID of the game, which is 425, which I can't find for some reason. Where is it? 4. There it is. 425.307.E6. Then this folder here, which has the 2 at the end, and there you can see that's where X last put my DLC file. But if it didn't put that in there for you, then you can go ahead and copy the one from the computer and drag it in here, or copy it over using a USB stick, whichever works for you. But you need to make sure that that file goes in to the DLC folder for Skyrim, which is the folder with all zeros and then 2 at the end. So that is that. Now all we have to do is go ahead and load up the mod. So I'll just show you what it looks like just now. Okay, so without changing the 2K or 1K textures as they are, if we have a look at the water, you can see that the Xbox just is not displaying the textures correctly. There's a hell of a lot of reflection coming off them. It doesn't look realistic at all, because the Xbox just cannot display those textures properly. If we have a look here, if I get up on this bridge and we just slowly pan across, you can see just there it's completely screwing up. And it keeps glitching, the textures keep glitching in and out, and the reflection keeps changing, and all in all it just looks horrible. So I'm going to go back over to the computer now and show you how to fix it so that you can get it looking like how Pure Waters is supposed to look on the PC version of the game. Okay, now back to the Xbox, and I'm going to have to make a part 3 unfortunately, but back to the Xbox here guys, and what we're going to do now is fix the texture problem. So as you could see back in that, when I went onto the game, you could see the textures were not displaying properly at all, and this can happen to a range of different mods, and the reason is simply because the textures are too high resolution for the Xbox to display. So if we go back into the textures folder where we put our Pure Waters textures, we go into effects and have a look at our Pure Waters. Okay, so let's go into effects first, and in fact let's go ahead and do it on the actual conversions so we don't have to look at all the other files. So if we go into effects, we've got all of these, and let's just open the first one and take a look at the image size. So go to image and then resize. It's 512 pixels. That's not too bad, but we're going to split that in half and change it to 256 by 256. Click OK, and then click Save. Click Generate Bitmaps, and I just put it to slow, high quality, medium. Make sure it's a DXT5 interpolated alpha, and then click OK. and if we go back now, we can see that the file size has dramatically reduced to 86 meg. So do the same with every single one. Let's have a look at this one, for example. This one is a lot bigger. This is a 1K texture, 1024. So if we split that in half, it would be 512. But I always recommend the sort of best texture size for Skyrim on the Xbox 360 is 256. So make it 256, so basically a quarter of its original size. So either do a half of its original size or a quarter of its original size, but for pure waters it best displays at 256 by 256 pixels. So we'll go and save that and save it, generate mipmaps, dxt5, and files reduced. So do that with every single one. Do the same with the water on here. If we open this one up, image, resize, so 1K texture again, so make that 256 by 256, and we'll go ahead and save, and just keep doing that with every single one. As I've been converting these ones, you can see that some of them are different, like this, where the width is different to the height. Just maintain aspect ratio, make sure that's kept checked, and split that down. If the height is 512, you want it to go down to 256, but you don't want the width to go down to 256, because if you put this down to 256, it's going to make the height 128, which is not, it's really terrible quality 128. So split this to 512. So the bottom is 256, so it's 512 by 256, and then save that, generate mipmaps, and we're good. Okay guys, that's me converted them all now. Now I should mention Pure Waters comes in 3 different qualities. You can get Pure Waters High, Pure Waters Medium, Pure Waters Low Resolution. I think there's actually a Pure Waters Legendary Resolution or something like that. I went for the lowest ones, which were 1K textures, and they still needed to be cut down to 256 by 256. So even if you download an armor mod that you want, like an armor retexture or retexture of anything, and it's like an 8K texture or a 4K texture, so it's something like, you know, 4096 over 4096, still convert it down to 256 by 256 or 512 by 512. If 512 by 512 doesn't display properly, then 256 by 256. So now that we have converted the water, and you can see there are 86 kilobytes, 86, that one's 171 because that's 512 over 256, and then we can just go back into our data folder, which is here. So effects, and we can put these updated ones, these resized files, and replace the original ones with those, and then we can go back into textures, down to water, and do the same here, textures, water, converted these ones, as you can see, 86 kilobytes, and overwrite the originals. And that should fix the water textures. They should now display properly on the Xbox, so I'll just go on the Xbox and show you that, and we'll end the video, and next part will be part 3, converting weapon mods and map mods.